Recovery Unplugged is a drug and alcohol treatment center that uses the power of music as a catalyst to incite long-term recovery.
I remember being a kid always telling my mom I'm not pretty, I'm handsome. She always thought I was kind of like a tomboy, but she knew that it was something different. As I got older, I got more depressed, I got more isolated, didn't want to go to school, wasn't focusing in school because I was so worried about how they saw me or how I saw myself. Oh, how do I look right now? Do I look like a girl or do I look like a boy? Does this person think I'm male or does this person think I'm female? When I was in high school, I obviously had known I was trans, didn't know where to turn. I felt super alone. I felt like I was different than all the other kids in high school, and I didn't think anyone would understand anything to just not let me think about what other people are thinking. Being uncomfortable in my body made it very easy to take drugs. I used for the first time when I was 13 years old. I smoked marijuana. I smoked very heavily. I was obsessed with it. And then by the time I was about 15, 16, I used coke for the first time. After using that, I kind of just was open to doing or trying anything. So by the time I was 18, I was addicted to pain pills like hydrocodone, Oxycontin. And it was kind of like the classic, my dealer didn't have pills anymore, but he was like, but I got heroin. And so from there, it was kind of just off to the races. I went to jail, and being a trans man in a women's jail, looking like I do with a full beard, deep voice, obviously been on hormones for a long time, and sitting around a lot of women that you would not want to mess with will really open your eyes to, is this really where I want to be for the rest of my life if I keep using? So that kind of was like my wake-up call to be like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it now. When I was seeking treatment for the first time in 2015, the treatment centers in Houston, they basically told me, you can come to treatment here, but you're not going to be able to continue taking testosterone and doing the things that you need to do to be who you are. So from there, I kind of went to any lengths to find something, just something to help me get off the drugs, because it was to the point of being suicidal. I ended up relapsing, and I found Recovery Unplugged 2 years later, and they were completely open-minded, totally okay with the transition, always let me be with the other guys and stuff like that, so they made me feel nothing but comfortable. It definitely was a way better experience. From the very start when I got here, even on the phone, they were asking me, how do you identify and all that stuff, and luckily they made me feel really comfortable. They made sure everyone knew before I even walked through the door that I was gonna go by he, my ID didn't say so, and it was okay. That's one thing that definitely drew me to Recovery Unplugged. It was just very comfortable and made me love being a client here. There's been days where I've had just really bad days, and I've called Recovery Unplugged at the center and been like, hey, I need to come and talk to somebody. Is it okay if I come and hang out for a little while? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. Even though I've already finished treatment, I'm an outpatient now, they're still very willing to let me come and visit and, just talk to a staff member, talk to a therapist, the doctor, anything that's going on, they're more than willing to let me, come and process that. No, I'm not a musician. There was no issues with me not being a musician here. It was musicians and not musicians, people who just liked music. The first night you get here, you get an MP3 player, and they give you a list called Songs of Life, and it'll ask you, what song makes you happy, what song makes you sad, what song makes you want to stay sober, what song reminds you of your mom, and you basically fill it out, and they put all those songs on your MP3 player, so you have that with you the whole time. If you walk around, you'll see tons of people with headphones in, and then when the groups start, usually they'll be like, somebody pick a song, or somebody pick a song that reminds you of how you're feeling today. Anticipating coming here, you're like, what's music gonna do? I've been listening to music while I've been getting high all these years, and it didn't do anything. But there's a thing called recovery triggers, and that's what the music is for. Like, there's songs that might remind you of when you were using, but there's probably songs that make you feel good and make you feel motivated too. For my mom and my family, it's definitely, they're seeing this whole different side of me. Even though I've tried to get clean before, they're seeing a side of me where I'm taking initiative. I'm living in a city, far away from them, by myself, living on my own, working, paying my own bills, trying not to ask them for any help, and they see that and they're very grateful that they don't have to sit there and worry about me all the time. Like, obviously my mom is always gonna worry, like no matter what, no matter how long I've been clean, she's gonna worry, because that's just who she is. To anyone still struggling or using, I would just tell them they don't have to keep living like this. There is somewhere that they can go where they're supportive and understanding, no matter who you are or where you're from, whether you're in the LGBT community or not. Recovery Unplugged will take care of you. Like, if you think you have a problem and it's, causing many consequences, Recovery Unplugged will take care of you. For my future, I'm gonna be working at Recovery Unplugged, like, period, end of story. Like, long term, I'm planning on going to college to be a licensed chemical dependency counselor, specifically for the LGBT community. I think recovery and being clean has given me an opportunity to do anything I can possibly think of. I don't feel like there's nothing I can't do now. Like, if I'm using, I can't do anything, even simple things, and so now, being clean, not that it's easy, but it's definitely easier getting up in the morning, easier going to work, easier to save money, easier to, continue being a normal person and living a normal life. Now I can go to college. Now I can, do things I never thought that I would ever even live long enough to be able to do. And so just that alone is enough for me.